Yuck! What a mess! We're all the time telling our account managers to drop their paperwork and hit the streets, but this is ridiculous. Ah, the 703. I'm glad that's gone. Well, all of this does serve a purpose. Most of you probably feel your paperwork load gets a bit ridiculous as well. Hopefully it doesn't get this bad, but I know at times it may feel like it. Dealing with a task such as this is really a matter of personal organization. We want to provide you with the ammunition you need to cope with the demands you face in your job. At the same time, we hope you gain some new ideas and perhaps improve your own good organizational habits. In this series of short programs, we'll expand upon the personal organization methods presented in the time management tape. You may remember a short time back, the CF Training Department produced this audio cassette program entitled Time Management. It covers 5 important points of proper time management. The first was time planning. I've got to get to this mess. Followed by dealing with interruptions. Right out loud, where is it? Personal organization. Oh, forget that. I've got to get myself organized. Delegation. I've got to get somebody on this mess, though. And procrastination. I'll just do that later. The program provided valuable information about personal organization. Listen to these excerpts from the tape.
Good organization is one of the most important fundamentals of good time management.
Notice he said good time management, not good time management. We figured most of you already know how to entertain fairly well.
You must organize your thoughts, your priorities, and your plan, but you must also organize yourself, and a good place to start is with your work area.
Uh-oh.
First of all, is your work area neat?
I think we may be in trouble.
Clutter creates stress and reduces your personal effectiveness and efficiency. You'll be amazed at how much more clearly you can think and how much more quickly you can accomplish your primary task by simply clearing your work area of all non-essential items and putting any projects that you're not working on out of sight.
I feel better already.
You can really only effectively work on one project at a time. Usually, a project that deserves any of your attention deserves all of your attention and best efforts.
My thoughts exactly. You may remember this as well.
While everyone agrees that it's desirable to have less paperwork, it's also important to realize that an organization the size of ours cannot operate effectively without certain types of paperwork and reports. You should therefore realize that paperwork is a necessary part of your job and will probably always be there. Your task, then, is to learn to deal with paperwork in the most efficient and effective way possible.
You can say that again.
Your task, then, is to learn to deal with paperwork.
Okay, guys, funny. So, in short, we're stuck with it. Or it to us. And that's why we're together today. To console each other? Perhaps. But mostly to learn some organizational approaches and methods that will assist you in being more efficient and even happier and more successful with your work. Okay, you tell me, enough of this introductory stuff. You tell me I'll be more efficient and happier and successful. Now, how is that supposed to happen? Well, with good organizational skills, you will, 1, be building your personal confidence and increasing your ability to be in total control of your job's administrative requirements. 2, being organized will give you more time and positive energy for face-to-face selling. 3, you'll be developing strong work habits and new approaches to your tasks that will help you be more effective now and in the future. And 4, you'll really appreciate this. With proper organization, you can reduce the overall time and energy spent on handling paperwork. It's beginning to look a lot better already. And you'll probably start feeling a lot better once we get on with this, right? Say no more. Just realize that attaining these benefits will greatly benefit you and the company. Being more organized will certainly free up your time and bolster your spirits. And that will certainly help you do a better job of selling. Much of this is both detailed and lengthy, with good reason, in order to be complete and accurate. Just keep in mind, we want you to get an overall feel for the systems being discussed. The Getting Organized reference card has the details on specific subjects or item references. So don't get bogged down in trying to absorb everything the first time. Look for the general principles that you can apply. Then look at the reference card and talk about the detail later. At last, time to begin. The first assignment is to review the tasks that we do for others and the time that they are to be done. As a starting point, we'll assume you're an account manager at a small terminal. The terminal will probably have a terminal manager, dock supervisor, and an office clerk. Let's look at what you, the account manager, might be responsible for. Roll them up, guys. This is one form of what we call a task board. It may include or exclude items you might have at a larger terminal. Now, don't worry about reading everything. What's important is that you identify tasks that you must perform that are needed by other people. Others depend on you to deliver the quality and timeliness required for them to do their tasks. Probably what is going through your mind is the list of your own tasks you do for others. That's great. But what you also need to do is create your own task board or list that will be accessible to your co-workers. Don't underestimate this important tool. Writing down the tasks you do for others for all to see builds their confidence in you. They will be reassured and more secure in your ability to deliver what is needed for them on time. There are several methods you may want to consider as you plan your task board. Armed with an assortment of felt tip or dry erase pens, an erasable bulletin board becomes a valuable aid. Some managers write or type their information and place it on a clear plastic sheet. This is placed on a desk or nearby wall for easy access. A third method is to write your task and time assignments directly on the days of a monthly calendar, creating a task calendar. Now, if that's not enough for you, maybe a combination of approaches can be used. With your coworkers, you can develop a task board for the entire terminal. Possibly a different color pen could be used for each individual. It's up to you. As you develop your own style of task board or calendar, be sure to extend your task due dates at least 1 month in advance. It's also worthwhile to indicate start times on tasks that are more time-consuming. Some people like to see at least 3 months of planning at a time. This requires calendars of sufficient size to allow written plans on appropriate days. Creating and posting your tasks will help you and others gain a perspective of your total responsibilities and overall workload. Terminal communications and planning are certainly helped through these methods. If you perform some work in terminal operations, you may be responsible for opening and closing the terminal or other tasks. Operational scheduling is easily added to the task calendar. It's also of great value as a tool to vacation planning, where juggled task assignments and job responsibilities can be written far in advance for all to see and plan for. And changes are easily to handle too. So that's your first step. Develop your own task board or calendar. Once it's finished, show it to others in the terminal. Then they can plan their work and understand how everyone's responsibilities fit together. Back again, and hopefully we've all made some progress. You've decided to develop your own task board or calendar. Since these tasks you perform for others are usually completed while at your desk in the terminal, a good desk filing system should make a lot of sense. We're all entitled to at least one drawer like this, aren't we? Well, instead of this popular method, you may have found it important to organize each task activity report in a properly labeled and tabbed file folder. So, go ahead, pick a file, any file. Now, let's see, how about blank expense reports? Great. Gin. No matter what task subjects make up your own file hand, it's important to have a place for blank forms as well as those you've completed. If not kept in your own desk file drawer, at least have blanks within a short distance in organized order or in a central location for all to use. You may find it very helpful to write instructions for particular forms for each task directly on the folder. This may include the time it's due, the day, and who it goes to. Attaching copies of pertinent information from manuals to the appropriate folder is another helpful practice. This will act as a quick reference guide to the proper procedures for that task. Now you say, great, I've got my files in my desk or filing cabinet drawers, now what? And I ask, how do you have them filed? Well, one way is to create a section called Task Board and file alphabetically within that section. Another way is to file by day of action, Mondays, Thursday, end of month. You may want to file under a general heading of Reports, or you may file strictly alphabetically in a general alpha file. Keep these options in mind as we discuss other responsibilities. The important thing to remember is to create a separate file for each recurring task and topic. Have blank file folders available. It's recommended that you put your files in Pendaflex type hanging folders held by metal frames. When a file is full, write the date span of the materials contained in the file and start a new file in a separate folder. Wow, are we getting organized or what? Now, make sure you have all the necessary supplies within easy reach to quickly support your needs. By now, you've written down or made a note to write down the tasks we perform that are important for others. From this, we've created a task board or task calendar to better manage these responsibilities. And to help teamwork, we've made our schedule visible to others at the terminal. Inside our desk drawers, we have, all neatly organized, a separate file for each task or report. Piece of cake, right? Sure. Now we'll list all the tasks and functions you perform on a daily basis to do your job. Another list? Oh, wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Oh, just a little list. I know you like the back of my hand, and there is no such thing as a little list. Okay. Besides, what we do changes every day. It all depends on what I'm working on for each of my accounts, not counting what my terminal manager, division manager, region manager, sales manager, or pricing department wants. The problem is that there is so much variation. Okay, you're right. We perform a multitude of tasks for customers, management, and others. That makes being organized that much harder and more important. Well, you can say that again. Well, that makes being organized. But let's face it, our success is dependent upon our ability to be flexible, knowledgeable, fast-acting, and responsive. It's critical and basic to your success that your paper management system support your changing needs. Just as we apply the needs-based selling approach that we learned in TOPS to customers, you must ask yourself, what must you have to answer the needs of your job? I'm sure you're going to tell me. Well, most people say that the discovery phase of selling never ends. The same is true when understanding all of your needs as you grow in your job. Let's try to write down all the possible reports and other information that you may need on any given day to do your job. Here we go again. This is where I came in. Oh, you're leaving? Don't worry, I never go too far away. As we think of this information, consider these items as individual file folder names that will serve to hold the information you need. Now, don't worry where we keep these files. We'll talk about that later. We'll categorize them after we've identified the total group. Are we supposed to memorize these or something? Lucky for you, this alphabetical list of file folder names is found in the Getting Organized reference card. So don't worry about memorizing them. You may never need all of these, or you may need only part of them. Over time, your responsibilities may grow and change. This list is to help demonstrate for you the importance of creating separate files on an ongoing basis as you need them. quite a list, isn't it?
Good grief. Is there anyone that can do this job?
Well, obviously, you may only use or need a smaller portion of these. And you may consolidate some information into more general files and store blank forms with completed forms. As your job and our competitive industry become more complex and sophisticated, your paperwork handling system must evolve to meet and anticipate your needs.
Okay, so I see. It takes time, thought, planning, supplies, and effort to be organized.
The hard part is setting up the system. But you'll learn to discover your real and ideal job needs as you do it. Once your system is set up and maintained, your time management will improve as you are able to quickly and logically access the information you need. I know it's not easy to stop what you're doing and really analyze your present paperwork handling systems. All of us have developed good and bad habits over the years which heavily influence the way we organize our work.
Yeah, but our bosses want bottom line results. Just get the business, they say. And with the pace we have to work at it, it sometimes seems almost impossible to be anywhere near being organized. We can never get caught up. Besides, our job is to sell, not to be a professional secretary. All this self-analysis creates more work and takes a lot of time, something we just don't have.
Agreed. Your time is valuable. But think about that long list of file names presented earlier. Isn't it obvious when you look at all the individual pieces of your job that you've really got your hands full? And wouldn't you agree that the reason you feel always behind and in such a rush is that the job is in control of you instead of you being in control of the job?
I guess so. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll leave you alone for a while if you just tell me it can really be changed. Can we feel good about our paperwork, our organizational abilities, our quality, and gain more real selling time?
Oh, yes, we can. We're already well on our way to building a proper organizational system to help us gain the control we need.
You're on. See you later.
Categorizing the files is the most important task that we have. That's because we must think about how we use or should use each file, and how each file has its place among others. This is where we can identify aspects of our present organizational system that may need change or improvement. Here is where the benefits of a systematic approach to your job functions will become clear. All of us probably have files in our car trunk, in our briefcase or portfolio, on our car seat, on our desktop, in a desk drawer, and in filing cabinets. Because mobility is a primary function of our job, our files have to be in many locations. We must be prepared to meet the job needs that we may encounter almost anywhere. How many times have you needed information during a sales call that was only kept in your desk drawer or supply room back at the terminal? Or the time your lunch canceled and you finally gained some time to work on your expense report and it too was back at the terminal? Nothing can be more maddening than receiving a gift of time and not being able to use it. So, how we use our files and where we physically keep them is becoming increasingly more important in an effort to maximize the productive use of our time. Let's categorize the file names presented earlier by where we may need them and keep them. Some files may have to be somewhat duplicated. Some travel with you wherever you are. And some can be centrally located and used by multiple account managers, thereby saving file space and supply expense. So let's not be afraid to list or keep the same file in multiple locations. You'll find that that's a part of and the secret of being organized. We'll begin with what logically should be on your desktop. Because of the limited desktop area, it's very effective to place and locate particular files in stepped, upright vertical holders. The slanted stepped feature allows file titles to be easily seen and quickly grabbed when needed. Putting files flat on top of your desk usually takes up too much workspace. Remember what the time management tape said.
Clutter creates stress and reduces your personal effectiveness and efficiency. Clear your work area and concentrate on one project at a time.
Normally, 2 of these upright file holders will be needed, and possibly 3. They can be placed on the back edge of your desk, facing you for easy reference. The files that belong on top of your desk are those that are in very active nature or in an open status. In one of the file holders, you may wish to place only open customer pricing items. Some paperclip or staple the related types and correspondence relating to the file to its cover and place the file in the vertical holder for easy access. When the pricing action is complete, the related documents can be neatly placed in the customer data file in proper sequence. Unnecessary paperwork can be thrown out. New pricing programs should be logged directly into the customer data file in the spaces provided. By having your open pricing files on top of your desk in an orderly and visible fashion, your terminal manager can have ready access to any open file while you're away from the terminal, and he'll know where to put it when he's done. Just think of it, if everyone in your terminal did this the same way, how much easier it would be to keep customer information current for vacationing account managers. So, let's attach all open pricing action to the front of the customer data file and place it in this single vertical file. This file holder can be placed on a far corner of your desk or on top of a nearby 2-drawer filing cabinet. Keep it within easy reach while sitting at your desk. A second vertical file holder should hold files that move with you or see daily use. One of the files in this group would include action items. This contains your personal list of prioritized action items. This would be a file folder with pockets. Behind the action item list would be related documents in work. The next, expense report. This would be another file folder with pockets that hold blank expense reports and the one presently in work. Receipts can be securely paperclipped to the inside pockets. You'll find that completing your expense report daily, usually before returning to the terminal, works well to complement the good habits we're striving to develop. Many complete the expense report in the car immediately after finishing that day's daily sales activity report. The information from one can be transferred to the other. Do these together every day. Next, daily sales activity report. Some account managers place this in their letterpad portfolio. Others place it on a clipboard. The clipboard system works well with a method we will review concerning forms used in the car. The vertical file holder will easily accept the clipboard and forms. Blank and completed daily sales activity reports should be kept in your desk drawer. 607 in work. Carrying this form with you depends on your preference for the data collection. If you record your entertainment activity as you do it, you'll know where you stand during the month compared to what's required. It's up to you. Use of a double pocket folder gives room for blanks, the one in work, and even copies of prior months if desired. Sales planner. This should be posted or in a file for easy reference by you and your terminal manager. Hot outbound moves and hot inbound moves, which would have a separate file. Copy bills to pull. This will contain a list of pros that you wish to pull copies of. When time permits, you can then pull as many copy bills as you wish. Copy bills for outbound leads or inbound leads. This is a live file of newly obtained quality moves that will help you create quality leads. Copy bills to file. File these in customer data files as you have time. Log new moves in the marketing facts section of the customer data file. Leads to answer. A separate file will help you keep all leads that you must answer in a single location. Use a file folder with pockets. Match this to your SLMR report. Task list, unless posted on a task board or calendar. Lead sent awaiting answer outbound, awaiting answer inbound. These will keep you current on the leads you have sent. Match this to your SLMS report. And finally, leads answered to be filed. Not all of these files may be needed in your vertical file system, and you may want 3 separate holders to neatly contain them. Choosing to locate some of these files in your desk drawer is your decision. The point to remember is to place active files that are basic to your daily job functions within easy grasp. It's possible to place even 80% of these files in your file drawer, but your time spent accessing these files must be considered. Also, because we have so many individual activities happening at one time, it's helpful to have pertinent files within our view every morning to remind us of the many responsibilities that we have. Think about this approach. Compare it to your present system and other alternatives. Everyone needs an organized method, but it must match your own individual needs. What's important is taking the time to think through your needs in an effort to become more efficient and effective. Let's assume the files we've mentioned do in fact become part of your desktop system. If you're in a terminal with more than one account manager, which files from our long list could be placed in a central location for all to use? If you really think about it, a well-managed central system could hold that and that and that too, and, well, I think you get the idea. A central system can hold over 70% of all needed file names. Each account manager does not need to have his own complete set of files, as long as the central system is kept current with changing needs. Your personal usage will dictate the necessity to have some of these also placed in your desk drawer. But what a relief. The central system will reduce duplication, overall supply expense, and ensure that everyone has up-to-date information on each subject. Think of the collective time and energy that will be saved by account managers who previously had their own complete set of files, hard-pressed to keep them up-to-date with the latest information. But you may have guessed, the central system will only work when it's actively managed by those who use it. Failure of this concept will result in going back to multiple repetitive files for each account manager, and that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. Responsibility for managing the system must be formalized and rotated to ensure success. Your terminal manager should get involved in this system. Hopefully the project seems a bit more manageable now, doesn't it? We'll move on to the desk files. Let's take a quick gander into the drawer here to get an idea of what should go in it. This is much more manageable. You can move files from the central system to your desk drawer to the desktop as the need for and activity of each individual file changes. Remember, this approach to being organized is dependent upon creating separate files for specific needs, adding files whenever needed without delay, managing the central system, moving files from place to place in relation to the level of activity and need. Again, we hope you're not trying to memorize where each file needs to be solely from watching this presentation, or you're halfway to the funny farm by now. Suggestions on where to place files are presented in the Getting Organized card. That is the place to refer for the lists of files in the central system, on your desktop, in your desk drawer, and what we will touch upon next, in your car. Used correctly, your car can prove itself to be one of your greatest assets. It's a direct extension of your desk and central system at the terminal. And soon, perhaps in the not-too-distant future, your car, your office on wheels, will probably become the primary account manager workstation, while your individual desk at the terminal loses its importance. It's already happening. Think about what we have just discussed. The central system, a single location for all account managers to keep and manage 70% or more of pertinent file names. The desktop, really just a place to hold active and open files. And your desk drawer, geared mainly to your personal communications and individual activity. Your car provides you with the mobility to perform your job, to sell your company's services face-to-face. More than 60% of the normal workday is spent away from the terminal, in your car, calling on customers and prospects.
Because we are physically separated from our terminal, we have to be sure that we carry with us the pertinent information needed to properly perform the selling job. A poorly organized car can destroy productivity in the field. We no longer have the luxury of putting things off during the course of the sales day to be accomplished later back at the terminal. Why? Because when we return, there's usually a stack of other messages and more phone calls to act upon, and not counting the work we produce during actual selling time. We must take advantage of every spare minute while we are using our car. We must complete or make progress on as many tasks as we can before we return to the terminal. By now, you know what I'm going to say. You have to be organized. You have to have with you all the right information, brochures, forms, reports, sales aids, or whatever. You can't go back to get it. Being prepared is a primary function of effective sales planning. Throughout the day, there are usually pieces of time that you can convert into task accomplishment. It may not seem at first like much, but 15 minutes of time found can really help your overall performance. Good sales call planning will help you find this bonus time. Can you arrange your sales planner to reduce time or miles driven between accounts? Can you continue to achieve and surpass your daily call requirements and also gain more bonus time? Does your planner really help you save time between calls? Do you crisscross your path during the day? How about sales territory planning? That's managing when you see which accounts. Planning for prospecting, planning for bonus time, planning for call frequency during peak workloads, such as at the end of the month or Mondays. Remember, you are in charge of your work. Can you gain bonus time every day by being a better planner? I bet you can.
There you go again, spouting off without thinking. All this planning stuff takes time too. All we have time for is the doing.
Well, how about involving your terminal manager? Discuss the possible advantages and benefits of you working smarter, of you doing a better job of planning your sales route, just as he is concerned about his driver's route production. Ask for some time to work out a new sales planner. Show your progress and describe what it will mean to the terminal. Bonus time for you will result in being a more effective and productive account manager, which is good for your terminal and your company. Okay, if we can corral some bonus time, we're going to do it. Now we have to be very efficient with the time we get. What do we need in our car to get the job done? Here's some possible file names.
Wow, great. That's just great. Why don't we just put our desk in a trailer and haul it around with us? Give me a break.
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Did you save some time by developing a more efficient sales planner?
Well, yeah.
Oh, you probably don't even want to mention how many minutes you save per week, do you?
Well, okay.
Not bad. 1 hour? That's great.
I couldn't have done it without you.
So let's use the time to our advantage. That's the point, isn't it? Let's get set up. All of us have some system for storing brochures, sales aids, and files in our car. Now it's time to formalize it. First off, we have to have some supplies to hold the files. Many account managers have found organizational success with plastic tub files, crates, or strong cardboard file boxes. Whatever you choose, they must be durable, weather-resistant, and have rails that support metal Pendaflex type file holders. Manila files cannot be simply placed in a cardboard box. They will not stand up. Professionalize your system with durable tubs or boxes that will properly hold the Pendaflex type file folders that will take abuse in your trunk. Naturally, some files can remain in the trunk next to your golf spikes, but others might be more useful to you if placed in a tub file on the passenger seat or floor. It should be right up there with you, as you need it all day long. When planning for lunch with customers, simply move the tub file to the trunk.
The trunk tub can contain information you may or may not need during the day. If you wish it to contain all brochures, for example, you may want it located on top of the rear passenger seat on the driver's side. Weather factors will influence your decision throughout the year, but the main point is that a well-built system should support your needs, just as we have discussed for your desktop, desk file drawer, and central system. The correct supplies are required to enable the system to work. If we were to use this system, what would make sense to have next to us on the front seat? You're not exactly what I had in mind. Well, you're not really going to do this, are you? I mean, give them another list? Well, it will probably be different for everyone, but there are some good ideas in the Getting Organized card for placing certain subjects in Pendaflex folders in a file tub. Oh, no. You're not going to tell them that maybe they would have 13-month account activity reports, action items, collections in work, blank customer qualifier forms, are you? I mean, you're not going to mention blank credit applications, daily sales activity report blanks, expense reports, sales planner, leads to answer, maps of the territory, blank transit times, operating groups and freight flow, phone directory, points list, pricing forms, pricing procedures, service reports, and 607s in work. Are you? Nah, I'm not going to tell them that. Oh, well, that's good. But what I will say is that what they have in the front seat tub depends upon the contents of other car file holders and how they organize their personal briefcase or portfolio. But just like the desk and central system, they can move the individual files to the most appropriate location as their needs change. They are in control. The front seat tub can also contain a customer qualifier binder, copy bill portfolio, and company presentation pitch book. All can fit in the tub and be easily moved when entertaining. Your customer data files can be placed between the center armrest and the tub in call sequence. The customer qualifier binder contains the completed records of your new or cold calls, plus follow-up calls and C accounts. Those forms can be filed alphabetically by city, area, zip code, or otherwise. A copy bill portfolio helps you organize copy bills for use when making prospecting calls. You can segregate the copy bills by zip code or city, for example, and then by inbound and outbound alphabetically. By sorting cold call copy bills by the route you take, found on your sales planner, you can save time by planning cold calls on prospects that are on the route you are driving that day. A copy bill helps open doors on cold calls, but it takes effort and planning to be effective. The portfolio helps you divide the copy bills into useful segments that match your route and save you time. A company presentation or pitch book is your creation of the appropriate brochures and information to help you discover customer needs, to present solutions, advantages, and benefits. Use it on calls where appropriate. You have to judge when it's best to use a presentation book. You decide what content materials are most appropriate for your territory. You'll also need a stapler, tape dispenser, staple remover, calculator, paper clips, pens, change, and business cards somewhere near the front seat. Depending on the automobile, you may be able to locate some items in the glove box along with the car's registration and owner's manual. These items may need to go in a small box under the seat or on the hump. Having only part of the system will not work. You'll need it all to be effective and efficient. Your trunk tub or rear seat file box could contain an accident packet, brochures in separate Pendaflex type metal file holders by brochure title, blank claim forms, a backup supply of blank daily sales activity reports, blank export declarations, a mileage matrix and revenue guide, stationery and envelopes, tariffs, trailer specifications, blank customer data files, and blank manila file folders. Along with this tub, you will need backup supplies of heavily used brochures, blank bills of lading, and your lake ball retriever. All should be neatly boxed to prevent tumbling and spilling. Sometime in your career, you will undoubtedly run into the situation where a customer will be exposed to your car trunk,
Let's hope the result will be a positive one. Appearing neat and organized will go a long way in leaving a customer with a positive impression of you and your company. So that's it. Pretty comprehensive, you say? We mentioned earlier that our purpose was to present some organizational methods and approaches to help you become more efficient and effective with your paperwork. The benefits to be gained come down to this. 1. Building your own confidence and your ability to be more in control of paperwork. 2. Gaining more time in actual face-to-face selling. 3. Learning work habits and positive approaches to task situations to help you be more effective tomorrow and in the future. And finally, 4. Reducing the time and overall energy that you spend on paperwork handling. We've found that getting organized is no simple task. In fact, just simply understanding what we need is pretty difficult. And as one person puts it, we still have to keep 12 plates spinning all the time. I hope you recognize that getting organized and being organized takes effort, time, and planning. It's a way of approaching your job tasks and responsibilities that is a complete and systematic method. Being organized in just one area alone will not serve your purpose, nor gain for you the benefits that a complete, organized system and approach will provide. Be sure to refer to the Getting Organized reference card for file names and location suggestions. An outline of this presentation is provided on the card for your review. Write down your action plan. Listen to the time management audio cassette tape again. Talk to your fellow account managers, your terminal manager, and sales manager. Agree to get organized action plan. Think long and hard about the task board, task calendar, desktop vertical file holders, the central system, your sales planner, card tub or file boxes. Discuss your ideas. Write down your plan, set completion target dates, and gather your necessary supplies. It's time for rookies and veterans alike to build a strong foundation, a way of approaching and managing our work that will bring success and a sense of accomplishment to us all. Let's get organized now for efficient and effective selling.